Most established businesses don't need more content. They need your content to work harder than they do. And if you already have long-form content like a podcast or a YouTube channel, you might be doing the repurposing with AI to save time. But you've realized that the video clips you're cutting with AI aren't getting the same level of engagement as your original long-form piece of content. There's a simple reason for that. Make sure you stay to the end of the video to see my unique process on how I repurpose content more effectively for myself and for my clients. So hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel. I'm a content strategist who helps established founders repurpose their content without sounding robotic. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, you might want to flip over to the YouTube channel to watch the video version because there'll be a couple of screen recordings demonstrating my workflow. So it's easier to follow along if you're watching on screen. I'm going to start with what most people do in terms of repurposing that is so 2024. You are using AI to repurpose your video clips either from your podcast or your YouTube channel, and it's cutting those clips. But when you watch over it, you realize there's some context missing. So people can't fully understand what's going on. And sometimes your videos might be so low quality that the repurposed clips don't perform as well. Let me give you a little tidbit to reflect on. When you're repurposing video clips or your podcast into only talking videos, you might be missing out on reach. And this is largely because people have different scrolling habits and they have different brains and they might prefer different formats of content. Hear me out here. Some people like to read, some people like to listen, and some people like watching videos. So if you're only repurposing video clips from your YouTube or your podcast, you're missing out on a whole other audience who could be interactive with your content if it were presented in a different format that works for their brains. The other grievance that I have with AI, even though I use it so frequently in my own marketing, if it's not trained properly, it can sound super generic. So you might be putting out lots and lots of repurposed content from your podcast, from your YouTube channel, from your blogs, but it just all blends in because you sound like everyone else. What's missing here is essentially the human element, which is you. I talked about this in a previous video where people are craving seeing the human side of businesses in 2026. And if you want to discover the 4 marketing shifts I think are going to take off in 2026, be sure to check out the previous video. So what are you supposed to do instead of using AI to repurpose? Here's the deal. I am going to show you my unique process on how I do this for my clients using AI to support my brain. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this, but effective repurposing isn't just copy-pasting the same kind of content across every single platform. What I believe in is that it's actually more beneficial to do less repurposed pieces, but keep them higher quality and also tied to your audience's intentions on particular marketing platforms. An example of this is tailoring your content for search-based platforms like Pinterest versus social media platforms where people crave entertainment and are there to enjoy themselves, get their little dopamine hit, scroll on, see a cute cat video, and move on. If you're curious about optimizing your repurposed content for search-based platforms like Pinterest, you'll want to check out my Pinterest SEO video. What this looks like for myself and for my clients is this. I use the same exact repurposing system for all of us, and it's given my clients at least 12 hours a week back to do whatever the hell they want. This is the same system that enables you to outsource the content bits to someone else so that you can focus on tasks only you can do, like client delivery, upgrading your online course, and sharing personal stories that work so well right now on social media to build an online community. This system is going to help you reduce friction when it comes to repurposing your content, and also your whole team can collaborate within a single document, making the whole process more streamlined. I'm going to show you what this looks like right now on my screen. What you're seeing now is an example of the Canva documents that I work together with my clients in. Within this Canva document, we have several different files. We have a spreadsheet at the front. So the spreadsheet is basically an overview of all the different repurposed pieces that we're going to create. And then we have the different content templates that we use to repurpose that particular piece of content. So there's different columns, as you can see right here. There's the initial idea, content type, text column where I put the text that's going to go into the graphic, and then there's a caption, a date to share, and this super handy feature where you can link the graphic within the file and it'll take you there. How does this whole process start? Well, step one is basically going into ChatGPT, and each of my clients has this thing called a custom GPT. So what it is ChatGPT, but for a particular purpose. In this case, it's repurposing their content. And the special things about custom GPTs is that it can be trained in your brand voice so that it can get your content 80% of the way done. The remaining 20% is where a human like me or like you could come in and edit. So it includes some of your mannerisms and it sounds more human. So what I'm going to show you today is the custom GPT that I've done for my own repurposing purposes. So it is here. And we're going to look for a transcript to paste in there. I'm grabbing the transcript from the script, which I use to do a rough draft of my YouTube videos or my podcast. Copy that, paste it into the Firefox Junior Custom GPT. And it's going to help do the initial repurposing outlines. Okay, so for this particular GPT, what I've done is I've told it to give me hook ideas for my carousel because what I realized is it's not really that good at writing. So I prefer to do this using my own brain. So it's given a couple of ideas. I like this one. Want Pinterest to drive traffic? You need to do this first. That's the right level of intrigue, and it will ensure that people continue reading the rest of the carousel. It's done a quote as well. So it says, Pinterest is not social media, it's a video search engine. Your strategy needs to reflect that. And if you look at the screen, you can see that there's brackets where it says something like awareness to sales. This is part of my content for sales framework where every piece of content is tied back to a business goal that you have. So awareness content, its purpose is meant to reach new people that aren't following you, that are aware they have a problem, but they're looking for a solution. So they would then discover your content, and your content will be like an invitation to them to enter your world because they are made aware that you know what they're going through right now and you have the right solution for them. Maybe they aren't ready to buy it, but they know that you'll be the right person to follow. So I do threads and it's given me a brief like threads post. Once again, I said it's not really good at writing, so I need to refine these further. But it's a good initial starting point. It's got my YouTube thumbnail text. So this is the text that I'm going to do on the thumbnail graphic. It's got my YouTube tags. It's got a blog post for awareness and authority building. This is like my trust kind of content. People might be searching for some sort of blog on Pinterest. Why is my Pinterest content not gaining the traction it needs? Or how to do Pinterest SEO so that your content gets discovered in 2026. That's what I would use as a title. And then it's got some highlights here. And then it's got some dot points right here where it's taken the information for the transcript to give me this blog outline that I can then flash out on my website. So what happens once I get this outlines is I go into Canva. So this is one of my own Canva sheets. And I tend to plan in quarterly bursts. So what I would do is then take the initial outlines of what I found good. This one. So this is the educational one. And I'll tell myself it's a carousel post. And just say, let's start it. And then I know I need to do the caption. And I'll have my carousel templates right here to do it. And then I'll just go through every single option that it's given me. Single image quote, pop that in, pop that into here, do that on quote graphic, which is this one. And it just makes repurposing into different content pieces. So like my Instagram graphic, my stories, my carousels, my Pinterest content a whole lot easier. So for my clients, the document looks a bit different because we're collaborating together on the same document. So they would see the individual text for the different slides in a carousel. They will have a status that you could say whether it's ready to schedule, so they can approve it, and then they can switch this to ready to schedule, and then they can have a look at the caption as well. So it's a couple more columns extra for client documents. And the beauty of this setup is that you can then outsource this work to a junior or another business owner to help you with the graphics. So for example, you use AI to help you come up with the initial outline of your content, but then you still got to do the graphics. So then you can just pop the text in here, hand it over to someone else and say, hey, I've got the text for the carousel in there. Can you go through the document, create these graphics, write the caption? And so they can take all these things, just copy, paste it into the graphic, do each slide. And then all you have to do as the founder of your business is just review the graphics in here. So it cuts down a lot of the time that you would spend on content repurposing because everything is so streamlined and it's all within one document for easy collaboration. Now that I've shown you the whole Canva repurposing system that I use for my clients as well as my own content, you might be wondering, where does AI fit into all this repurposing? As you might have seen from the recording before, use AI as a tool to help structure your content and do first drafts because it can't get you 100% of the way there. Some of the content that was coming out right there, even though it had been trained in my brand voice, was still sounding generic because it was lacking emotion, it was lacking the personal perspective that I could give that content. And anything related to a point of view, a tone of voice, deciding where a particular piece of content should go and why it should go there should be decided by human brains. When you understand that AI is just a tool to help you do your job better or to do content better, that is how you stop your content from sounding robotic. And that is what is going to help you maintain your brand reputation and make content fun for your audience to consume. So if you are ready for a strategic content system that is going to save you 12 hours of your time each week, as well as your mental load, you want to check out my Repurposing Reset. It's a one-to-one coaching experience with me as your repurposing partner for the week, designed for time-poor founders who want to repurpose their content more effectively so it gets more reach, more engagement, and ultimately more sales. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helped me in supporting my content in reaching more people. So I'll see you next time.